Our corner of the universe was a silent, frozen graveyard of gas and dust, a molecular cloud light years across. The peace is shattered by the death of a neighboring star. A supernova shockwave hammers into the cloud, triggering a chain reaction. Turbulence stirs the giant. Within the chaos, gravity finds its grip, pulling matter together into dense, dark cores. One core begins to fail under its own weight. It collapses, falling inward, faster and faster, toward a singular point of destiny. Angular momentum takes hold. The sphere flattens into a vast, spinning disk, the cradle of our future solar system. At the center, the pressure is immense. Gravitational energy converts to heat. A protostar, our young sun, begins to glow in the dark. For millions of years, it feeds. Sucking in the surrounding gas, the temperature at its heart climbs to a breaking point. Then, the miracle. At 15 million degrees, atoms fuse. In a blinding flash of nuclear fire, the sun is born. This solar birth cry, the T-Tauri wind, blasts the inner system clean, sweeping away the leftover gas and revealing the rocky seeds of planets. The great collapse is over. The sun has stabilized, and the stage is set for the birth of the worlds. After the sun ignited, its powerful T-Tauri winds swept away the gas, leaving behind a graveyard of rock and dust in the inner disk. Gentle collisions turned dust to pebbles, and pebbles to boulders, as gravity began to take over the work of construction. In the silence of the vacuum, electrostatic forces acted as the first cosmic glue, binding microscopic grains into the first solid clumps. Within a few million years, billions of kilometer-sized planetesimals dominated the inner lanes of the solar system. Infused with short-lived radioactive isotopes, these bodies began to cook from the inside out, melting into spheres of molten rock. The inner system became a planetary traffic jam. Hundreds of embryos jostled for space, their gravity pulling and pushing one another into chaotic new paths. This was growth through violence. When they collided, they merged, forging the seeds of the four inner worlds. Mercury, born closest to the sun, likely lost its outer layers in a series of devastating impacts, leaving it a dense, metallic remnant. Venus grew into Earth's twin, but a runaway greenhouse effect and volcanic fury began to trap it in a suffocating shroud of toxic gas. Early Earth was a hellscape, a world of liquid fire, kept molten by constant bombardment and the heat of its own creation. Further out, Mars formed quickly. Being smaller, it began to cool sooner, its volcanic heart beating more faintly than the others. Then came the grand tack. Jupiter migrated inward, its massive gravity acting like a wrecking ball, thinning out the material available to the inner planets. Thousands of potential worlds were either consumed by the sun or exiled into the cold void of interstellar space. Then, the most defining moment in Earth's history. A collision with a Mars-sized world named Theia. The impact pulverized Theia and blasted a ring of superheated debris into orbit around the wounded Earth. In just a few thousand years, this ring coalesced to form our moon, initially much closer and more luminous than it is today. A final era of violence followed, the late heavy bombardment. A rain of asteroids scarred the cooling faces of the inner worlds. From deep within, Earth began to exhale. Volcanic outgassing created a primitive atmosphere, setting the stage for what was to come. But the key to life arrived from the cold outer system. Icy asteroids delivered the water that would eventually fill the first oceans. The chaos of birth was over. 4 rocky worlds remained, each with a different destiny, orbiting a now stable sun. Beyond the reach of the sun's intense heat, we find the frost line, the boundary where water and methane freeze into solid ice. Here, a monster is born. Jupiter's core, a heavy heart of rock and ice, grows large enough to exert a terrifying gravitational pull. The core becomes a vacuum, hungrily devouring the surrounding gas disk in a runaway process of accretion. Jupiter emerges as the king of planets, a gas giant so massive it dominates the entire solar system.
Saturn follows suit, gathering its own massive shroud of gas, a majestic sibling to the Jovian giant.
The giants begin a chaotic dance, migrating inward and outward, reshuffling the orbits of every body in their path. In the frozen outer reaches, the ice giants Uranus and Neptune take shape, composed of water, ammonia, and methane ices. A sudden shift in orbits triggers the Nice model, a period of instability that flings icy debris into the inner solar system. Saturn's iconic rings are born from tragedy, a moon torn apart by the planet's relentless tidal forces. The debris spreads, forming the most spectacular ring system in the known universe. Jupiter develops its own mini-system, the volcanic hell of Io and the hidden oceans of Europa. Saturn's moon Titan cloaks itself in a thick, nitrogen-rich atmosphere, a world hidden in orange mystery. A titanic collision knocks Uranus on its side, leaving it to roll through its orbit for eternity. On Neptune, supersonic winds whip through the methane clouds, fueling the Great Dark Spot. Beyond the planets lies the Kuiper Belt, a graveyard of icy leftovers from the system's birth. Pluto and Eris, the kings of the frozen twilight, reign over this distant, dark frontier. Gravity acts as a slingshot, sending comets on long, lonely journeys toward the sun. Far beyond Pluto lies the Oort Cloud, a vast, spherical shell of ice reaching halfway to the nearest stars. The sun protects its children with the heliosphere, a magnetic shield against the harsh rays of the galaxy. The outer solar system is complete, a realm of giants and voids, set in a delicate, frozen balance.
After billions of years of chaos, the solar system finally settles into a rhythmic, stable clockwork.
Earth undergoes a miraculous transformation as liquid water fills its basins to create a vibrant blue world. In the dark depths of the oceans, the first sparks of life begin to flicker, the ancestors of all we know. The moon, once a looming presence in the sky, slowly drifts away, stabilizing Earth's tilt and tides. Between Mars and Jupiter, the asteroid belt remains, a permanent ring of rubble that never became a planet. Mars loses its protective magnetic field, its core cools, and the solar wind strips away its atmosphere, turning it into a frozen desert. Saturn's rings continue to evolve, sculpted into intricate patterns by the gravity of tiny shepherd moons. On Jupiter, the Great Red Spot, a storm twice the size of Earth, has raged for centuries, a testament to the giant's power. Through ice ages and asteroid impacts, Earth's climate shifts, but the flame of life refuses to go out. From the edge of the system, our home is nothing more than a pale blue dot, a lonely speck in the cosmic dark. we reach the Helios sheath, the final frontier where the sun's influence meets the vastness of interstellar space. Our tiny emissaries, the Voyager probes, carry our story into the silence of the galaxy. Our sun is now a mature G-type star, providing the steady energy required for life to flourish for billions of years. Today, the solar system moves with the precision of a master-crafted clock, a masterpiece of gravity and time.
From a cloud of dust to a family of worlds, this is our home. This is the history of our solar system.